Hey everybody, Denver Riggleman here. And yes, look at this beautiful, I'm sweating a little bit. Coalition of the Sane, hashtag COTS, your Virginia former congressman here and former senior technical advisor to the January 6th committee. So I'm hiking on my property. And I know listening to the podcast, you can't see it, but it's a beautiful evening here. And I'm sitting in a area where I actually, if I ever plink a little bit or go shooting, it's the area I like to shoot. What I want to talk about today, as somebody who was also the former senior technical advisor on January 6th, is a type of information that you see out there and what's happening with President Trump's campaign, the former President Trump's campaign, J.D. Vance, what you're seeing with Vice President Harris and the excitement of her VP pick, but also the type of information that's been bandied about the former president, and J.D. Vance. And I know that we've seen some funny things about couch sex. The funny montages of J.D. Vance's solicitous looks towards Naugahyde couches and the gaps between the cushions. We're talking about dolphin porn, which every time I think of dolphin porn, I think of Family Guy and Peter Griffin riding a dolphin. And these things are funny. And I even got into it a little bit and started to make some jokes about it. Then I started to think better of it after today. And let me tell you why. It's because what's really important is that JD Vance, regardless of and it is disinformation about couch sex or dolphin porn, is a proponent of Project 2025, and that is real. What also is real is the excitement you see on the Democratic side with Joe Biden's retirement and Kamala Harris, Vice President Harris's ascension to be the presumptive nominee for the Democratic Party. And you see this outpouring of excitement that somebody younger is actually on the ticket and somebody with some experience, which is a good thing. Now, people know I'm not a Democrat. And everybody who listens to this knows I'm going to tell you what I think. And do I think the vice president right now is the strongest candidate we have in the United States? Well, no, not even a little bit. However, I think she's a lot stronger than an insurrectionist like Donald Trump. And I think she does bring excitement. And she also brings a very strong staff and people that have been doing this for quite some time. And a president, President Biden, who's willing to sacrifice for his country and step down. And if you think about that, it's hard to even get my arms around. But let's talk about the spiral, or it seems like the flat spin, of the former president's campaign. Now, the other thing I want to talk about is when you're talking about information and stacking disinformation, and we can laugh about couch sex and dolphin porn, but the assassination attempt, I do see a lot of Democrats or people out there looking at these conspiracy theories, looking at pictures of the year, wondering if he actually did get shot. You need to drop that shit. It's not. It's just gonna. It's not important. What's important is all the other lies that he said, and the fact that he is a rapist. I mean, let's just talk about that. I think you can stick to the points instead of going down conspiracy rabbit holes, things like that. You can stick to the talking points. The talking points are this: he's a convicted felon. He tried to lead an insurrection against the Capitol. He's a known QAnon adherent. And the worst part of all is how he treats women, whether he's been found liable for rape, whether he brags about grabbing women by the nether regions, all these things. And as I'm walking in this beautiful environment called America, my property here in Virginia, outside of Charlottesville, I want us to stick, and listen, it's just my opinion, but I want us to stick to what's really real, to what's happening in our country. And that's authoritarianism and fascism and nativism and America First, which looks oddly like the America First of the 1930s. That's where we should be sticking to, those talking points. Yes, Donald Trump and J.D. Vance are weird. Yes, J.D. Vance is some kind of shape shifting chameleon who goes from being some kind of Appalachian to somebody who's in the pockets of a billionaire to saying whatever he can to be actually, it's almost like he's a philosophical lap dancer for Donald Trump. But when you look at the talking points and why I'm here today and why I had to talk today is that I don't want to see people who I think might have great intentions going down the disinformation, bizarre rabbit holes of assassination, deep state conspiracy theories that Trump planted himself, that you continue to push on this JD Vance and the couch thing. That's going to eventually boomerang. They're getting ready to go after the former, Vice President Harris. She doesn't have a great past either. You can dig some things up on her that's going to get very, very ugly And you can see this escalation of unseriousness and personal attacks where policy isn't even part of the equation. So while you're talking about couch sex, dolphin porn, and things like that, what's happening is we still have a war in Ukraine. We still have a war in Gaza, right? We still have Israel and Gaza going out. We still have hostages. We still have real things that we need to discuss in the United States of America. Yes, I like to have fun. As you guys know, I love to joke. But I also know there comes a time when the jokes actually get in the way of what really this is all about. And this is about this overarching message that there's only one type of person or people that can exist in the United States of America, and that's Christians, or this Christian nationalism, somebody who was raised very religious. These are the things you should be talking about. Project 25, the fact that there's people voting for rapists, the fact that there's people voting for an insurrectionist, they're voting for a felon who tried to intervene in the election, somebody who plays off porn stars and playmates, somebody who's had multiple marriages, multiple affairs, somebody who likes to have pictures with Epstein. These are real things. I know it just sounds like a rant, but here's where I think we're going. I honestly believe there's a better than 50% chance that Vice President Harris wins now. If it was Joe Biden, I actually had written the election off. I was preparing for a Donald Trump rehash with the most bizarre people you can imagine in positions of power, from Stephen Miller to Jason Miller to Mike Flynn. My Lord, we've been talking about J.D. Vance as vice president, but other people, gosh, because you used to have Patrick Byrne walking around out there and Mike Lindell. I mean, that's pretty crazy. Kash Patel, some real nut jobs. So as we're going in this short COTS take, here's what I want everybody to do. Align what you want to attack with what's factual, because that's much worse than what's fake. Again, align with what you want to attack with what's factual, not with what's fake, because it's a much more powerful line of attack. That's what I wanted to say today. Stop with the assassination, conspiracy theory bullshit. Stop with the other bullshit. All you got to do is to reiterate what happened to Eugene Carroll and Dobbs and our daughters. And as a girl dad, I need you guys to look at what's happening to your daughters. Now, we could talk about ladies looking at what's going to happen to their daughters. They should anyway. But as you're going forward, and I talk about all these steps, this factual thing that we need to do, is that MAGA equals non-inclusivity. MAGA equals a demotion to people's rights. MAGA equals a backwards path to a place we don't want to be. So sit straight up. You've had your fun. We've looked at the gaps of couch cushions and hope there wasn't a black light shown on them. And we've talked about dolphins and other types of weird stuff, and J.D. Vance's flip-flopping, and the worst pick in vice presidential history, maybe, or presidential history, from Trump to Vance. And now there's a chance. Don't blow the chance by being what you hate. Don't blow the chance by pushing disinformation or jokes at the expense of what's really important. That's the freedom of all Americans. That's serious people in positions of power. And that's a pushback against any type of nativism or any type of xenophobia or racism that says only one type of people should live here in the United States of America. Thank you, everybody. I want you to have a great day. Hug your kids, hug your family. Hell, if you're by yourself, put in a movie, pet your pets. But know that I'm just going to try to tell you what I'm thinking based on facts and data. Have a great day, and as we get closer to the election, buckle up.